person or the people coming together as a whole, as a community. Today, it's more about the big dollars, right?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I go to church, but I go to a non-denominational church, and it's more of a spiritual awakening than it is as from a religious basis.
Gotcha.
You know, so therefore you come there as you are, who you are. You know, it's not a requirement that you give money all the time. You know, but you do have to give some of your time if you choose to.
Right.
You know, if you have a talent, you're allowed to utilize that talent there and showcase that if you want to.
Okay.
You know, but I do believe that we all have some type of spirituality in us. It's just that I think sometimes religion, and because religion is man-made, it corrupts a lot of us, and a lot of us are misguided. So we do lose the spirituality, and we become to follow the man instead of the spirituality itself.
Gotcha.
So the grandparents that have that spirituality and that were pillars of our families and our communities may look at the way things are today and say, oh, this is the wrong way. We can't do that. But to swing back and go to that grandchild that lives in this time, in this age, and they understand what's going on today, they can also still have that spirituality, but come from a modern perspective.
Yeah, so I want to touch back real quick on the church piece. I think with the church, also at that time, because the church was the hub of the community.
Correct.
Was the actual hub of the community.
Correct.
So your grandmother was probably on the deaconess board or the usher board or the nurses union or something like that.
Like most of our great grandmothers and grandmothers.
You know, so,
exactly.
You know, so they were most definitely on that committee to be a part of the church, which was the hub, which allowed them to be showcased, quote unquote, in the neighborhood, as someone of influence or whatever else. Well, along with, they might have been part of that organization that might have been giving out food for those that were not as fortunate, and or clothes.
Well, part of being a pillar in a family or a community, the church was a main structure into that. Right. So, like you said, the churches would back then, you would go to the church for almost everything. Right. You know, so if something was wrong with your marriage, you go see the pastor. If something's going on, you needed money, you go see the pastor. Right. You know, this person's cheating on you, you go see the pastor. Right. You know, this person's aching or ailing, you go see the pastor before you go to the doctor. Right. You know, so yes, the church could be a strong pillar in any community, and most communities it is people that have that type of background. Right. Still, but they still, we'll pop to the church and ask the pastor this. We ask him, we give him his intake. But you know, as I say, as times change and as we move forward as a people, and we got away from that, the things that, you know, men corrupt. Yeah. Men do things that men think are correct. You know, they don't always do things according to a spirituality based or what they truly believe in, because what they're chasing is not what they're supposed to be chasing. Yeah. And they're not chasing what they're preaching you to chase, you know, and that's wrong. It's definitely wrong. But you as an individual must always analyze everything that you put yourself in. So you have to take a look at, you know, is this the way I need it to be? Or like with me, like I say, I believe to be very spiritual. I believe God is in everything, and I believe God can be whatever God wants God to be. So, so to associate God with anything else other than what God is a little different from me. Okay. And then coming from reading history and learning how the Aruban tribes and the Aruban religion was, and how a lot of African tribes were before we were captured, how they worship a certain way, you know, opposed to how things are worshipped now, you know, which was a little different. And then looking at how during slavery time, how the slave master would use religion to pacify us, you know. So that's why a lot of times when a lot of the generations now, once they start to understand history and read about what's going on, that was going on during slavery time, they shine away from the image or the thing that they would think would be God or this religious thing. that's why a lot of them don't want to pick up any type of title. Like, I don't call myself a Christian. I don't call myself a Muslim. I call myself nothing. I just call myself me. You know, I believe in God. I believe God created this world. I believe God's going to destroy this world one day, maybe. Yeah. You know, whatever he gets tired of it, or she gets tired of it. But my thing is, I do believe in Mother Nature. I also believe in the goddesses and the gods. I believe in a lot of that stuff because all that stuff to me is connected. So to say that because I go to church and I have a title, I don't have a title. I don't need a title. I don't need to have a name on me. You know, I believe in God, and that's it. I have a spirituality. I have an awakening. I have whatever you want to call it. It's just that I know that whatever I'm doing right now is right for me. Yeah. And it's allowing me to continue to stay on the path that I want to stay on, you know.
And that was all taught to you from whom?
Well, that was taught to me differently, but the basis for it was taught from the pillar of my family.
Right.
From my grandmother.
Right.
You know, because that's how it always been. You know, when you was a little kid, you didn't want to go to church. Like, we went to a evangelistic church when I was little. So those of y'all that don't know what an evangelistic church is, if you ever seen the old time movies where you see the guys that were in the tents and they were always healing somebody or whatever, that's an evangelistic church. So that's them guys that lay hands on you.
Yeah.
So that's the type of church we went to. And we used to go to church 3 or 4 times a week.
Did you laugh at that type of stuff?
No, I was a kid. I mean, it was just, hey, he made somebody get up out of the chair and walk. You know? I'm sorry that I seen the guy later on getting into a Cadillac without his wheelchair, but at that particular time, he was, you know. And then the church that we were going to, the guy used to be an ex-pimp.
Okay.
So a lot of that did happen during the 70s.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of guys that were pimps that changed their changed their lifestyle, became very religious, and we all know what a pimp is.
Yeah, we do.
You know, so is he pimping the congregation because the money is good there, or because he didn't have no more women? You know, but as I got older and I started reading about the history of us and things that we weren't allowed to understand or were taught in school, it gave me a different outlook about what God is and my interpretation of what God is. So I formulated that, what I am today and what I know today. But the basis for all that did come from my grandmother.
Gotcha.
Because she never really like restricted you to just one thing. She was an open-minded thinker.
Gotcha.
You know, she believed in God. She went to church. She did what she wanted to do because that was the way she was taught.
Right.
You know, and then so on. That's how it is for us, for generation to generation. And we are expected to teach the next generation that. But I also believe that upon teaching the next generation that, you should allow the next generation to be free thinkers and think for themselves. Just present them with the knowledge and the know-how so that if they want to choose to do this, they can choose to do that. You know.
And so I think with some of that, first I want to go back to believing in Mother Nature. Do you believe in Ralph also?
Ralph is a head of lettuce.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And for those of y'all who don't know, actually, you know what? If you know what reference that is, put it on our Instagram.
Yes.
If you know who Ralph is.
And Ralph was a head of lettuce, if you could tell us what show that came from.
Right.
Just hit us up on our IG, our Facebook, and our Twitter at the Neighbors Podcast.
Right. So I'll just, but with that, I agree with, a lot of what you've been saying in reference to just belief. I think that sometimes because of the era that we live in, being called a Christian or recognizing with Christianity may not necessarily be the right mindset in some cases, because of just these wars and things like that. So, people's like, hey, if we're a Christian, why are we going and fighting these people, or why aren't we fighting these people? A lot of things are done in the name of Christianity, and so it's kind of making little things a little muddy,
right.
In that, which ultimately trickles down to grandma.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Why am I calling myself a Christian? So I totally hear what you mean by you're believing in a higher power.
Right.
You're acknowledging that there is a God.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that you're not acknowledging that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior.
Right.
It's just that, do I want to follow Christianity?
Correct.
Especially if Christ was a Jew.
Well, that doesn't necessarily because
I don't want to get too deep into that stuff.
Deep too, because once you start to research and find out where Jews come from,
right?
Like really do the research,
right?
You'll be surprised,
right?
And some of y'all won't. A lot of y'all know.
Yeah, y'all do.
We're not here to judge anybody's religion or anybody's religious belief. We're just here to state facts. We're having a conversation, and these are our opinions and from our experiences. And things from our life, we're just hoping that you guys will learn from it and formulate your own opinion about certain things.
So even with that, being Christian and questioning the pillar of the family, that also helps the divide and or the coming together.
Yes.
So it's going to do one thing or the other.
Right.
Because either one way, you're going to make a decision.
Of course.
And so that's where the pillar will come and say, well, baby, it's your decision. You're an adult now or not. Or they're going to put their foot down like, no, you're a Christian. That's it.
Right.
Put on this dually on your hat and go pray, But also the other part of that also it would be from the pillar perspective, they will also help encourage family togetherness.
Exactly.
One way or another.
Exactly.
So whether or not you're used to having family dinner every Sunday, like Big Mama's house,
right?
Whether you are used to speaking with them about getting marriage advice, baby, I've been married for 50 years, and you just do what you got to do,
right.
type things,
right?
So there were other things in their life that you looked up to,
right?
That helped them, help you to look up to them. As far as them being the pillar of the family.
Of course.
And in some cases, they were able to also keep you motivated and support you enough to stay in your job or to go find your dreams and things like that. Even though I joked earlier in a segment about grandparents only being 10 years older than the grandchild, but in some cases, that's not
fact.
too far from the truth.
It is true.
It's not too far from the truth.
It is true.
So the same struggle that your grandparents are going through, you're going through at the same time.
Right.
And sometimes that could be muddy waters also.
Correct.
Correct. So that kind of throw some things off as far as the pillar, along with the fact that, hey, grandma is twerking just like I'm twerking. Whoa, wait a minute. How grandma feeling like this cat suit better than I am, like you get those type of scenarios, So I think sometimes even just the respect level of our elders overall has changed.
It has changed dramatically. It has changed. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have to not respect your elders.
Well, no, but I think because of just the mindset of people who are saying, hey, I want to do what I want to do. I want to believe what I want to believe, and you can't tell me no different type thing, shaking of the head and breaking of the neck type thing.
Right.
I think that also hinders the respect level of our elders and who would be considered the pillar of the family.
That is true. Because if a child see you do a certain thing and as they get older, they start to wonder, well, I used to see you do this, so why come I can't do it?
Right.
Which I agree with that.
It's that whole do as I say, not as I do mentality.
Right.
But I think sometimes that kind of throws things off.
Yeah, do it because it backfires.
Right.
But once again, I believe that we can, if we work at it, we can get back to that where you respect your elders.
Right.
And you have some young people that respect the elders because the elders respect themselves. So you have to respect yourself first before someone can respect you.
Right.
And you have to carry yourself a certain way.
Right.
I'm not saying that you got to be all high and mighty and sit up on your throne or whatever. It's just that you treat people how you meet them and you meet people how you treat them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you know what, family? At this time, we really would like to thank y'all for listening to us.
Yes, as always, we always thank y'all.
Be sure to tune in next week where we're going to have another fire topic.
Mm-hmm.
But on this particular topic, we really want to hear what y'all have to say.
Yeah, come on, y'all. Give us a shout out. Drop a like, a comment, subscribe. Hit us up on our IG, Facebook, Twitter, and follow us on anything that has the Neighbors Podcast on it. Right. Because this is not for us. This is for you. You know, we're doing this for you. So if we don't know what you want or what you need, you know, we can't give it to you. So you have to help us out, y'all.
So keep in mind, NayborsPodcast.